Heather here, and welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be a dedicated, spoiler-filled reading vlog of Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. I started a book club called Happily Ever Afters, which is on the Fable app, and for the month of January, we are reading Once Upon a Broken Heart. So I am going to be filming my thoughts, feelings, experience, and whatnot of this book. That way, if you have read the book, you can comment down below what you think, if you agree with me, if you liked it, if you didn't like it, etc. And I also have the cool character cards that came in the Fairy Loot. What is this? Was it November's Fairy Loot box? I think it was November's Fairy Loot box. I got character cards, so I guess as I read, I'm going to be trying to figure out which character, because it doesn't tell you on the cards. In case you didn't watch my Fairy Loot video. These are the character cards. Those, I guess, are all of, like, the major characters in the book, but I don't know who they are, because it doesn't tell you on there who they are. So hopefully, as I read the book, I can figure out by the description who is supposed to be who. So yeah, I'm going to get started on this, and I will check in periodically as I have thoughts and feelings on the book. Alright, starting off, can we just appreciate this? For anyone who has ever made a bad decision because of a broken heart. And it's got a beautiful map in it. Isn't that so pretty? It is. Oh, love it. Ooh. So we have warning and signs, and then, ooh, we got parts. Okay, this is cool, this is cool. I'm excited. So this book has some warnings about the fates. They say, always promise less than you can give, for fates always take more. Do not make bargains with more than one fate. And above all, never fall in love with a fate. You know what? I'm gonna think she does either all three of these or one of these. And the main girl character, or the main character, is Evangeline Fox, but they haven't had a description of her yet. But this here is kind of like foreshadowing probably to what's going to happen in the book. So I've read the first 3 chapters so far, and wow. So Evangeline and this guy named Luke are like having this relationship together, and they're about ready to announce their like engagement, and like before they can announce it, her stepsister announced that she and Luke are going to be getting married. And Evangeline's like, this doesn't make any sense. Luke and I are in love. Why, like, I haven't even seen him anywhere near my stepsister. Why in the world would they be getting married? And she thinks her stepmother Agnes has done something to like make Luke forget about her and like orchestrate this whole thing. Because when Evangeline goes to talk to her sister about, like, to talk to her about it, the words can't come out of her mouth. So she decides to go and seek out the Prince of Hearts, aka Jax, to make a bargain with him to stop the wedding. And the only, like, caveat is that he can't kill anyone. So she races to the wedding because she goes and makes the deal right before the wedding is supposed to start. And everyone's turned to stone. So then she's like, well, if everyone else is stoned, I'm going to be too. So she drinks the drink that everyone else does and turns to stone herself. And that's how chapter 3 ends. What? So this is interesting starting off. And the bargain she makes with the Prince of Hearts is that she has to give 3 kisses at the time of her choosing. And in the synopsis, it makes it sound like she's supposed to give him the 3 kisses. No. She has to kiss whoever he tells her to kiss. So he has 3 times that he can just tell her to kiss someone. And kissing, it has to include tongue. because it's not a real kiss unless it includes tongue. So there we go. But yeah, so this is set in the same world as Caraval. It's set in the Meridian Empire. And because it was talking about like the Spice Quarter, and it's not called the Religion Quarter, but it has the same like sections of the city that I believe the second and third Caraval books have. So this is set in like that same period. Or same area, I should say. So yeah, I'm gonna get back to this. Alright, so if you've read Finale, the third book of the Caraval series, where the fates were all released from the cards, well, in one of the scenes, there is a wedding party that has been turned to stone. That wedding party, Evangeline was a part of. So apparently when she drank from the cup, everyone else turned back from stone, but she stayed as stone. And so it's 6 weeks later now, and the whole fate, like the cards being released and all the chaos that happened in Finale, is now over. And she has just been like revived. And like everyone's like calling her a hero and everything. So yeah, this literally takes place like about 6 weeks or so after the events of Finale, which is really cool. So we've met Poison, the fate called Poison. Yeah, so this is really interesting. I'm so excited. Because I love Caraval, so like I'm loving this so far. So good. Here's another really good quote, and also probably a like foreshadowing moment here. It says, "I believe there are far more possibilities than happily ever after or tragedy. Every story has the potential for infinite endings." It looks like Scarlet and Donatello are going to be making an appearance. They are the two main characters of the Caraval series. So if you haven't read the Caraval series, this book may have spoilers in it, because this right here is kind of a spoiler. So yeah, that's exciting. So we're gonna see the same characters. So this is literally just like a what's it called? This is like a sequel almost to the Caraval series, which is really amazing. Alright, so I just reached chapter 10, and this is kind of having like a Cinderella feel or vibe to it, because Evangeline has a stepmother and stepsister, and the stepmother isn't that nice to her, but her stepsister is. Well, Donatella and Scarlet invite Evangeline to the palace, and they want her to be the ambassador to this big ball that's happening in the magnificent north, where Prince Apollo is going to be looking for his bride. So, yeah, Cinderella vibes here. But apparently there's also speculation that the Prince of Hearts is also there in the north. And then, it is currently snowing here. Like, it's snowing the most that it has so far this year. And in the magnificent north, it's going to be winter in 3 weeks. So I'm guessing we're going to have like a winter vibes, winter themes, maybe some snowy sceneries, which is amazing. And it's perfect weather for reading this book, so that's amazing. But yeah. Oh, and also she, her stepsister, because everyone got turned to stone at her sister's wedding. And then 2 weeks later, while Evangeline was still stone, Luke and Marisol tried to get married again, and Luke was attacked and mauled by a wolf. Everyone is calling Marisol like the cursed bride, and everyone's like afraid of her. So Evangeline has asked Scarlet and Donatella if she can take her stepsister with her to the ball too. That way her and her sister kind of both have a chance to meet new people. Like, even if it's not the prince, maybe they can find someone, other men to get their minds off of Luke, because Luke has now like disappeared. We don't know where he went. So yeah. So yeah, they're going to go to a ball. I'm excited. Alrighty. So it is now Monday morning, and I was able to make it to page 108 in Once Upon a Broken Heart last night. So where I stopped off, Evangeline has made it to the magnificent north, and she is currently at the dinner that is like the day before the ball starts, so that like I guess like the important people, the top girls that are up to maybe become the princess can attend, and like the prince can kind of like see everyone and decide who he wants to dance with, because he, I think, chooses 5 a night to dance with until he finds the one that he wants to marry. So this is kind of like the introduction dinner. And of course, Jax, the Prince of Hearts, is there. And I've figured out some of who these cards are, the character cards, so I'm going to go over that here. Alrighty, so this is what Evangeline looks like. She apparently is supposed to have rose gold hair, and it's like not a normal color, so people find it fascinating. And then this is Evangeline's stepsister, Marisol, who I think looks exactly like Josie from The Legacies, the spinoff of Vampire Diaries and the originals. What do y'all think? Do you think that looks just like Josie? I think it does. Then this is what Jax looks like at the beginning of the book and also in the Caraval series. But when Evangeline runs into him at the dinner, he has changed his hair to a dark blue color. And he apparently is like really close with Prince Apollo. And at the end of the chapter that I'm currently reading, he has told Evangeline that she has to kiss Prince Apollo before the night is over or she's going to die. Because he did this thing where like he cut himself and put his blood on her lips. I guess, I don't know, like to seal the contract for the first kiss, because he has 3 people to tell her to kiss. So this is the first person that she has to kiss. So, I don't know. This is going to be interesting because she hasn't even met Prince Apollo yet. And Jax is like, you have to kiss him by the end of the night or you're going to die. So yeah. And then there was one more character card. We have met this guy here, but we don't know his name yet. It was a very brief, like 2-paragraph meeting, and we don't know his name, but he is a guard. And then this here is one of the other contestants for the Prince's Heart, and her name is Lala. One of these has to be the prince. I'm not sure which one yet. And then there's another guy, and then one might be the mom, but I'm not sure, the stepmother, but I'm not quite sure yet. So yes, I've figured out the majority of who these people are. But yeah, I'm going to get back to reading and see how in the world she gets Prince Apollo to kiss her. Like, is it going to be like a surprise attack, or is she actually going to woo him? I want to find out. Alright, so I've now made it to page 148, so I've read 40 more pages, and I found out who the prince is. This here is Prince Apollo. Look at that dashing man. Yes. Alright, so she did kiss Prince Apollo. They were having individual meetings with the prince, like kind of like the contestants. And she's just like, I'm sorry, and like basically just jumps him. And at first he's like shocked, but then he like kisses her, and then they start to break away, and he like grabs her again and like kisses her some more. And then as she's like leaving, he looks like he's in shock. And we've run into the guard again. It seems as if he's like following Evangeline, but we still don't know who he is. So he's kind of like a mystery character. And then Evangeline now thinks that her sister might be jealous of her or have malicious intent against her, because some rumors in the paper came out that her sister was like in a witchery and was like in some places like a witch would be. And so she's concerned now that maybe her sister was behind getting Luke to like, you know, her stepsister instead of the stepmom being the one who did something. And Marisol does seem like really sweet and kind of naive. So she also made some comments to Evangeline that made it sound like she was kind of jealous or envious of Evangeline. So I'm wondering if there's something more there. And then the first night of the ball, the prince dances with someone else. And then after the dance, he goes to Evangeline and asks her to marry him. And she says yes. So that's where I left it off. But I'm wondering, she has 2 more kisses that Jax has to give, like, tell her to kiss. So I'm wondering if there's going to be, like, 3 different guys that she ends up kissing. And then she's going to have to kind of, like, choose between them. Because that quote earlier about, like, infinite possibilities or infinite endings or whatever, Like, and also Jax made a comment about if Luke had actually loved her, he'd be marrying her, not someone else. But she, she's in love with Luke, and Luke's the only guy that she kissed. And Jax is like, you've never kissed anyone else? So I'm wondering if Jax is trying to make a point that you need to like shop around before you actually decide who you're in love with, which I've only kissed my husband. I never kissed anyone else, and I'm perfectly happy. But, not everyone has the same viewpoint. So I wonder if he's trying to like prove a point. I don't know. I'm going to keep reading and find out though. Alrighty, so things are heating up. Evangeline and Prince Apollo are now engaged, and he's like absolutely obsessed with her. He gave her this white dress with like these beautiful like white wings and said that he bought this because she looked like an angel. Then he filled her bathtub with like pirate treasure and said that she should be bathed in jewels. And he gave her an entire stable of horses that were white with rose gold saddles so that they could ride off into the sunset together. He got 2 swords in the shape of a heart over his heart that had Evangeline, her name on it. He's having all of his paintings like recommissioned and changed to include her in all of his portraits. And like he is completely obsessed. And Evangeline's like, this isn't normal. Like there's no way that he could possibly be this in love with me and us barely know each other. Jax had to have done something, when I kissed him. So she meets with Jax and finds out that, yeah, the prince is basically under a love spell, and Jax told her if she doesn't marry the prince, she'll basically break the prince's heart and he'll never recover from it, and he'll just like basically fall into despair. But if she does marry him, after the wedding, Jax will like lift the love spell. But then she's like, so she'll save him from the love spell, but then he'll probably hate her, and now she's gonna be stuck with a guy that hates her. Not only that, but so they met the night of the dinner. He proposed to her the next night at the ball, and in a week they're getting married. It's like they're not even taking time to get to know each other, to find out if they're compatible. It's just like, nope, we're getting married, let's go do this thing. And it's just like, okay. The prince is also concerned about Evangeline's safety, so he's moved her into the wolf hall where he lives to keep her safe. But she's currently with Jax in a coach, and they're on their way to her next assignment, so the next person that she's supposed to kiss. But Jax does want her to marry the prince, so he said this is going to be a different type of kiss. So I'm interested to see who she's going to be kissing next. Alright, okay. So things are getting really exciting now. Okay, so the second person that Jax has her kiss is the matriarch of House Fortuna. The matriarch is the mother of the princess who everyone assumed that Prince Apollo was going to actually propose to. Jax wants Evangeline to kiss her either on the hand or the cheek to create like a love spell that kind of, I guess it makes her adore Evangeline so that she'll do whatever Evangeline asks for. And oh, my kitties are being cute. Oh, so cute. What are you saying, Charlie? Be nice, kitties. Alright, anyway. So Jax wants Evangeline to ask the matriarch to take them to her vault. And so she really doesn't want to. The matriarch really doesn't want to. But Evangeline asks, so she takes them. And there's like this arch. And there's actually these arches all around the Magnificent North. And they have previously like talked to Evangeline. Which I didn't think it was that important. But now it's become important. So there's these arches that have been put all around the magnificent north, and there's certain people that can open them, and they were originally installed or created by the original rulers of the magnificent north, the Valors. Well, when the matriarch opens this arch, the arch whispers to Evangeline that she could have also opened the arch. What? And then Jax has Evangeline ask the matriarch about some stones to show them the collection of stones. And the matriarch kind of like freaks out and like breaks the spell. And then she makes a comment about the Valerie Arch. She's like, "You're the one who will open the Valerie Arch." So we don't know what the Valerie Arch is. And then apparently there's a prophecy that says, "You will know her because she will be crowned in rose gold. She will be both peasant and princess." Well, Evangeline has rose gold hair, and she's currently a peasant who's engaged to a prince. So if she marries the prince, she will be a princess. So this will apply to her. And so she asks Jax, "What's the Valerie Arch?" And he's like, it doesn't matter. And she goes, "Is that why you want me to marry the prince? Because I can open this arch?" And he goes, "Don't worry about it." And she's just like, so it's like, what? I'm wondering if she's a descendant of the Valors then? Or something? But okay, I guess my theory was wrong that he was going to have her kiss 3 different people and have her choose, because obviously he doesn't actually want her to fall in love with the matriarch. He wants her to marry Prince Apollo. So I guess the other people he is going to have her kiss is so that he can get something out of them. So this is taking a different turn than what I was expecting, because I was clearly wrong. But yeah, we're gonna keep on going through this and see what's gonna happen. Alrighty, so a lot has happened. I just started part 3, and I'm on page 257, the start of chapter 37. Oh my goodness. Okay, first off, this character card right here. I thought this was a woman. I was thinking this was Evangeline's stepmom. This is actually Prince Apollo's younger brother, Tiberius. Yes, this is a man. Which, I mean, looking at it now, like, if you go by the chest and the hands, it's clearly a man. But the face, it looked like a middle-aged woman to me. I'm sorry, Tiberius. But, so yes, I found out who this is. It is a man, not a woman. Okay then. I feel a little stupid. But I even like showed it to my husband. I was like, "Does this look like a guy to you?" And he's like, "Not really." So anyway, Evangeline has now gotten married to Apollo, and she's also been trying to find more information about the Valors and about the Valerie Arch. And so she goes to the library, and she can't find any books or any information about the Valors. So she asks the librarian, and he takes her to this other arch, and he's like, "The information's in here, but no one can figure out how to get into it. Have fun." So she hasn't been able to get in there. So her and the prince get married, and she keeps on waiting for the prince to fall out of love with her, because Jax told her that as soon as they got married, the prince would like lose his affection or whatever for her. But they get married, and he's still just as affectionate as always. And so she goes and seeks out Jax, and he's like, do you really want him not to love you anymore? Do you really want the spell to be broken? And she's like, "Yes, this is fake. I want him to feel the way that he actually does about me." So she goes up to, so Jax does the whole, cuts himself, puts the blood on his lips again, and says, "Once you kiss him, he'll only have his normal feelings for you. There won't be any like added spell or whatever." So she gets there, and she's really nervous, and she doesn't know what to do, and she drinks some wine, and she goes over, and she's like, "Let's get it over with," and she kisses the prince. And he's like, "Evangeline, what have you done?" And then he dies. So of course she's thinking that Jax did this, okay? So she starts freaking out and screaming and crying. Guards come in and like, "Oh my goodness, she killed the prince, da da da." So they take her away and they gag her and tie her up. And she just keeps crying and crying and crying. So then Jax shows up and rescues her and kind of like use mind control to like get rid of the guards. And Evangeline's like, "Why did you kill him? well, how could you do that, da da da? And Jax is like, I didn't do it. And she's like, what do you mean? And he's like, all the times that you were kissing the people, I was just using that so if anything happened, it would fall back on you. But I was actually just controlling them. So he made Tiberius fall in love with her, but she didn't actually have to kiss him for that. And when she kissed the matriarch, Jack just used his powers and used her kiss as like a deceptive trick type of thing. He said that he thinks she was poisoned, and so he is now like, they're on the run. She's basically a fugitive now. And he took her to someone to give her an antidote to like save her, because he said that she'll cry herself to death. So yeah, that's where I'm at. And she's been given the antidote, and then the lady who gave it to her told Jax that he has to hold her all day long. So she's in Jack's arms right now, trying to recover from crying to death, pretty much. So yeah, like I said, lots happening. Don't know what's going on, but yeah, that's what we have so far. So the plot thickens. So Jax took Evangeline to Lala, who's actually the Fate, the unwed bride. She's the one who had the antidote because it was her tears that were used to, I guess, poison the wine. But they weren't like recent tears. Apparently before like everything went down in finale, she had sold some of her tears, so she doesn't know who had possession of her tears and who wanted Apollo dead. So now Jax and Evangeline have teamed up to find out who wanted to murder Apollo, and they're still on the run because they don't know whether Evangeline is actually a suspect, or if, because the papers came out and said that Tiberius didn't think that she did it and that he just wanted her safe. He thought she was kidnapped, but Jax doesn't believe that. He thinks maybe Tiberius was in on it. I'm actually thinking maybe Marisol was in on it, since Jax also, I didn't say this, but earlier Jax had also warned Evangeline to stay away from Marisol, and Marisol is clearly like jealous of Evangeline. So we have Tiberius as a suspect, we have Marisol as a suspect, and then, I mean, potentially the matriarch of Fortuna's daughter, possibly, maybe. But I mean, Marisol was out looking for, according to the paper, she was out at like a witchery and different stuff, so she could have bought the tears while she was out and about. So, I don't know, I'm thinking it might be Marisol. That's just my guess. But Jax has told Evangeline that they're gonna go and visit Chaos, who is another Fate. Apparently a Fate that was not ever trapped in the deck of cards, and he's a vampire. Ooh. So yeah. They're on the hunt for the killer. Okay, so, alrighty. Things are getting good. So, to start off, we finally find out who the man in the mask is. Him here? Yeah, this is the Fate Chaos. He's a vampire. Good to know, right? Okay, so Evangeline and Jax go to Chaos's like lair or whatever, to find out who killed Prince Apollo. And it's on the night of like a vampire initiation. Like all the vampires are attacking these humans and then putting them in cages. And if the humans can escape and feed on human blood, they become full-fledged vampires. Well, while this is happening, Jax and Evangeline are talking to Chaos and find out that some girl, probably a witch, had contacted one of Chaos's like apothecaries or whatever and bought this tonic that's like an oil that if used in a certain way can make it so that the person's tears and something else will only kill that person. And then as they're going to leave, Evangeline hears Luke's voice. And she looks up and he's in one of the cages. And he reveals to her that he had gone to see had gone to see Evangeline, and then Marisol greeted him at the door and took his coat and like touched her fingers to his neck, and then all he could do was think about Marisol. So Marisol is a witch, and she tricked Luke or cursed him to fall in love with her. We still don't know who sent the wolf after him, though. That is still a mystery, because Jack said that he didn't do it. And if Marisol was wanting to marry Luke, why would she have him mauled by a wolf? Luke convinced Evangeline to let him out of the cage, and so he went to attack her, and Jax got in the way and got bit instead. And now Jax is turning into a vampire too. So yeah, this is interesting. Very interesting. Also, Jax is blonde again, so there we go. Alrighty. I'm actually gonna film myself. I have less than 100 pages left. So you guys, I'm gonna film, that way you guys can actually see like my reaction. Like the video isn't going to be however long until I finish, but like when my reactions come, I'll like cut so that you can see my reactions and like when I talk about what's happening in the book. I'm excited. Let's see what happens. Of course you all should already know if you read the book, but you know. Jax is holding himself back from attacking Evangeline and drinking her blood. And they get to like this crypt area, and she uses her blood to open the crypt. And then Jax goes in and locks himself up. So he has to stand there till dawn to go back to normal. I think Evangeline's falling for Jax. Like, there have been a few little, like, hot and steamy moments kind of between them. But he's telling Evangeline about how him and Donatella met and, like, what happened between them. And Evangeline experienced a painful wench inside of herself when Jax said that he kissed Donatella. Evangeline has come to a realization. She wasn't making loving choices. She was making compromising choices because she wanted love. Luke wasn't her weakness. Love was. Okay. So she doesn't want Jack. She just wanted someone to want her the way Jax had wanted Donatella. And she didn't want it to be because of a spell or a curse. Evangeline wanted a real love, powerful enough to break a spell, which was exactly what Jax wanted too. They want the same thing. Jax gives her his dagger and then breaks the lock. And it's like, you might want to use that. Okay, Dawn came. He didn't turn into a vampire and he didn't bite her. But she stopped him. He was almost about to do it. And then she's like, you need me to open the Valerie Arch. But yeah, he's back to normal now. I think I would have liked Vampire Jax. I'm here. I want me a Vampire Jax. Alright, now Evangelina's wanted for murder. Jax is like, I wanted you here, little fox. Who do you think asked Poison to save you and suggested to his empress that she send you to Knock Neverending? Which is the ball that was in the Magnificent North. Newspaper headline, The Cursed Bride and the New Crown Prince. Tiberessa is engaged to Marisol. What? I wonder why Evangeline's wanted for murder now. Probably because Marisol is twisting Tiberessa's mind with her evil spell. So Evangeline just found a spell book that has the love spell and like the side effects and then like the cure for it. And it says that depending on which love spell you do, like how far you do it, that there is a like a side effect, like a bad thing that can happen. So Evangeline's speculating that Luke got mauled because it was like the bad side effect to Marisol casting a love spell on him. So that was like, you know, like kind of in Fullmetal Alchemist, like there's equivalent exchange. That's what it is. to get something, you have to give something in return. So for her to make him love her, she had to lose something. And that was his face being mauled. Which apparently she doesn't want a mauled husband. Evangeline is confronting Marisol about her love potions. And Marisol is shocked. It's time for a snack. These are delicious. These are hard cookies, not soft cookies, but they're delicious. They're a special holiday, and they're gluten-free and vegan. They're also egg-free, nut-free, peanut-free, have no artificial anything, and no rice or soy. Super allergen-friendly. And they're delicious. So she's confessed to the love potion on Luke, but she's saying that she didn't put a love potion on Tiberius. Or frame Evangeline for murder. Don't know if that's true or not. So Marisol confesses to Evangeline that she put a love spell on Luke, and that she felt guilty about it, and she thought that she was cursed because of what she did, and she felt regret for it. And so Evangeline tells Marisol that she forgives her, and then she tells her what she did. And Marisol's like, here I was feeling guilty, and you did something worse than I did. And then she calls for the guards to come and get Evangeline. Like, I know two wrongs don't make a right, but you stole her lover. You don't think that she had a right to, like, retaliate? Like, come on now. Uh-oh, Marisol lied. So Tiberius knows that Evangeline didn't kill his brother, but he can't let her live. Because he's a protectorate. He's one of the people that are supposed to protect the broken pieces of the Valerie Arch. Tiberius killed his brother, and he just admitted to it. The love potion, or the truth serum to break the love spell Evangeline gave him, made it so he actually had to tell the truth and he couldn't tell a lie. So I was wrong about Marisol. She just likes to do love potions. It was an accident. He was meaning to kill Evangeline and he accidentally killed his brother. Okay, so Havelock, Apollo's personal guard, and some little girl with a tattoo on her face are saying that Apollo's still alive, and they're going to take Evangeline to him. Sus? I don't know. Okay, so that ending, wow. So she finds out that Apollo is actually still alive. He's actually in a state of stasis. So he's kind of like when she got turned into stone. So she's like, she's going through everything that happened in her head and realizes Tiberius must have poisoned the wine that made her cry a whole bunch. But then him being turned to stone, Jack had done, and that Jack had probably actually made Tiberius fall in love with Marisol because he can manipulate people, and that he like planted all these things to make Evangeline think that Marisol had done it, so that Marisol would have actually been accused of the prince's death. And at least this is what she's guessing. So at the end of the book, she decides that she is going to save Apollo by herself, and then she's going to stop Jack from hurting anyone ever again. And I believe the very last chapter is her using her blood to open the arch that has all the information about the Valors in there. That's my guess. But, wow. That was a ride. Yeah, best book I've read so far this year. I think this is my 8th book now. And all the other books got 3 stars, and my previous book got 2 stars. This one I'm going to give a 4-star. Because, again, it wasn't as good as Caraval, but it's still really good. And now it's kind of like ended on like a cliffhanger. And this book is a lot about happily ever afters and like how to find your happily ever after, kind of the things that you would do and why people want it. But Evangeline at the end of this book doesn't actually get a happily ever after. So I don't know if this was the best pick for the book club. If you didn't, I probably everyone who's watching this is in the book club, or you have read Once Upon a Brooklyn Heart already, since this is spoiler filled, since I basically talk about the whole book and everything that happens in it. If you didn't know and you still watch this video all the way to the end, thank you. And I actually host a book club called Happily Ever Afters on the Fable app, and this was the January pick. Next month's pick is going to be The Spanish Love Deception, so yeah, look forward to that. And yeah, guys, I hope you really enjoyed this book as much as I did, or even more. Let me know what star rating you gave it, what you thought of it, if you were kind of like thinking the same thing as me during different like twists and turns. And oh, she hasn't given the 3rd kiss, because Jack's made it so that she has 3 kisses. She's only given 2 for him. So that means she still has a 3rd kiss. So, like, is he gonna make her use a 3rd kiss in the next book? Okay, I don't know. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye! Alright, I wanted to touch on the fact that I said that this was Prince Apollo. But I think this is actually Prince Apollo. Because they look like they're related, but not exactly related. But then I have no idea who this person is. I'm confused. I don't, because when they said that Prince Apollo had olive skin and a crooked nose and he had like brown eyes and like brown hair cut short, I thought they were talking about him. But they definitely don't look anything alike. Nothing alike at all. But when I put these 2 people up together, which I know this for sure is Tiberius. That's for sure Tiberius. So that's gotta be Prince Apollo. Does anyone know who this is supposed to be? Because I have no idea. Now this is Luke, but they don't actually ever give a description of what Luke looks like. So I'm confused. Please let me know if you know. If you have these cards, or if you read the book and you got the description, because I'm lost. Everyone else is pretty easy to figure out, but these 2, yeah, I'm confused. But anyway, that's it.